am Temitope Olajuwola. NLC declares 2-day warning strike. Osun government clears air on viral recruitment. OSBC Fashion News focuses on decadency in the fashion world. The federal government has said it is planning to decentralize the fire service emergency response system. This is to improve the response time to emergencies in the country. The Minister of Interior, Mrs. Bumi Tunji-Ojo, who has been inspecting the facilities of various paramilitary organizations under a watch since Wednesday, disclosed this in its office today. He said the federal government was planning to have firefighting trucks stationed at every economic zone in the country. According to him, the plan, when executed, would help reduce billions of naira lost to fire disasters in the country. He also promised that the personnel of the Fire Federal Service would be adequately trained in how to handle modern equipment. Many Nigerians have criticized what they described as homogeneous cost of governance and have called for a drastic cut. This, they believe, will be a way through which governments can identify with the economic hardship Nigerians are experiencing. This is the focus of this report by Temitayo Abikoyi.
One of the efforts that has been put in place by the Tinubu-led government to fight against corruption at national and international levels was the debarring of government officials who cannot prove that they are formally billed to participate in the upcoming United Nations General Assembly. President Bola Tinubu directed the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to freeze the processing of visas of officials who intend to attend the United Nations General Assembly without proof of direct participation at the event. By the directive of the President, federal ministries, departments and agencies are mandated to ensure that all officials who are approved for inclusion in the United Nations General Assembly delegation strictly limit the number of aides and associated staff partaking in the event. Where excesses and anomalies in this regard are identified, they will be removed during the final verification process. According to a statement released by Andrew Ngalale, Special Advisor to the President, Media and Publicity, the decision is part of a broader effort to reduce the cost of governance in Nigeria. Many Nigerians see Mr. President directive as a welcome development and a step in the right direction. The People's Democratic Party Secretary in Osun State, Prince Bola Ajaron, commended and stated that the size of government should reflect the reality of the nation's economy.
It's a good development because everybody seems to be on that page that the size of government should reflect the reality of our economy.
The former chairman of the Ifeolodun local government area of Osun State, Mr. Ahmed Omoloye, appreciated the directive made by the president as it will help curb wastage of financial resources.
I think he did right thing, and it's a signal that this is no nonsense president. He won't tolerate wastage in his government.
Stressing further, a legal practitioner, Mr. Adedolapo Omolade, said he believes this directive will be strictly followed because the president is dedicated to work.
It has to be strictly followed because if you look at the antecedent of Mr. President, it is somebody that those who are working with him fear.
President Tinubu has set clear goals for each sector in the economy and affirmed that henceforth government officials and government expenditure will reflect the prudence and sacrifice being made by Nigerians across the nation. Temitayo Abikoyi reporting for OSBC News.
The Nigerian Labour Congress will begin a 2-day warning strike next week, Tuesday, in preparation for a total shutdown, which will start in 21 days. The decision was taken at the end of its National Executive Council meeting, which was held in the early hours of today. A communique released by the Labour Center and jointly signed by its national president, Joe Ajaero, and secretary, Emmanuel Ubuaja, said it decided to take the decision following the failure of the federal government to enter into dialogue and engage stakeholders within the organized labor on efforts to cushion the effects of the removal of subsidy on premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol, on the masses. Already, the organized labor had in August staged a one-day protest which grounded activities in major cities across the country. While listing some of the other reasons why it would mobilize its members for the nationwide shutdown, The center accused the Nigeria police of laying siege to the national headquarters of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, alleged exploitation of the rights of workers in Imo State, interference in trade union matters by the Abia State government, proposed demolition by the new Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, among others. Osun State government has concluded the distribution of 6,300 bags of rice palliatives to the 30 local governments and area office. Governor's office correspondent Abdurrahim Adekilekun, who has been monitoring the distribution since the beginning, reports that the exercise was done in strict compliance with the template set by the Palliative Distribution Committee. His report is presented from our studios.
The distribution, which started on Wednesday round through yesterday, came to an end today with another 10 local government receiving their share of palliatives. As of this morning, when OSBC News visited the warehouse, which was hitherto filled with 6,300 bags of rice, empty wooden pallets were seen at the warehouse, an indication that the palliatives have been distributed as agreed by the committee saddled with the responsibility under the supervision of the Special Advisor to the Governor on Regional Integration and Special Duties, Mr. Kamal Adekilekun, and the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Special Duties, Mr. Oyeleye Oyedeji. Speaking with OSBC News on the exercise, the Special Advisor to the Governor on Regional Integration and Special Duties, Mr. Kamal Adekilekun, said that the administration of Senator Ademola Adeleke has demonstrated high level of transparency with the way it handled the first batch of rice palliatives that came from the federal government. Mr. Adekilekun said the distribution was done in strict compliance with a template designed by the committee. According to the Special Advisor, Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke is planning to roll out palliatives to cushion the effect of harsh economy on residents of the state, which was occasioned by the removal of fuel subsidy by the federal government. By and large, the first batch of the palliative from the federal government have been distributed without bias against any segment of the society.
Osun State government has described as false and misleading any information circulating on social media or other platforms about recruitment by the present administration. This is contained in a release by spokesperson to the governor, Malam Olawale Rashid. The release maintained that the government is not currently recruiting for any position in the State Civil Service Commission. It reminds the public that collection of employment forms is a normal routine with all civil service commission, maintaining that such normal activity is however not an indication that the state government has started recruitment exercises. The release therefore advised members of the public to disregard such information and report to the appropriate authorities any attempt to defraud them using the name of the Osun State government. It adds that announcement will be made via official channels anytime the government is ready to start recruitment of staff. Wife of Osun State Governor, Mrs. Titi La Adeleke, has called on wives of the local government chairmen to support the Renewed Hope initiatives, a pet project of the First Lady of the Federation, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, and ensure they actualize it across their various local government areas. Mrs. Adeleke made the call today during an interactive meeting with the wives of local government chairmen held at the Local Government Service Commission Multipurpose Hall, Government Secretariat. She explained that the interactive meeting is important to enlighten them about the First Lady of the Federation Initiative Program and interventions lined up for the betterment of women and children, mostly girl child. According to her, the PET program covers areas such as education, health, and agriculture, stating that the three areas are key to the sustainability total development of women and children, even as she then enjoined women to participate in agriculture by cultivating available land around them, as it will go a long way in solving, if not eradicate, unemployment and hunger. In their separate reactions, the wife of the Deputy Governor of Osun State, Dikine Solushola Adewusi, and the wife of Osun Speaker, who was represented by wife of the Deputy Speaker, Mrs. Fatima Oyewusi, appreciated Governor Ademola Adeleke for placing high premium on the welfare of the women and children in the state. Earlier in a message, the wife of the head of service, Dr. Moji Aino, also emphasized on the importance of educating children. The chairman caretaker committee, Irewole Northeast LCDA Wasimi, Mr. Akinpelu Kolawole, has assured people of the council area of unhindered dividends of democracy. Mr. Kolawole stated this during a familiarization tour to all the villages across the wards in Irewole Northeast LCDA. Speaking with the baales and other dignitaries across the community, the LCDA Council Board solicited support for the PDP administration in Osun State. He assured of attending to the needs of the people of the area through social amenities such as provision of water, health centers, renovation of schools, and grading of roads, among others, to make lives of the people meaningful. Mr. Kolawole thanked them for voting Akogunlere Oyewumi during the last senatorial election, responding baales of Odeyinka, Chief Oyebamiji Rashid, and that of Babga, Chief Michael Oladeji, on behalf of others, pledged their support for the administration of Alhaji Kolawole Akinpelu and that of Governor Ademola Adeleke. On his entourage were the Council Secretary, Mr. Lukman Oyeniran, and members of Caretaker Committee, including Azan Jimoh Urishatola Surajuddin, Ola Oshun Sefiat, Olawo Peter, and Mojid Awowole. The career officials were led by the head of local government administration, pharmacist Abdulrazak Haruna. Education, no doubt, remains a stairway to the growth and development of humankind. How has this all-important sector fared in Osun State's 30 years of creation? Our reporter Oluchi Amuda attempts answers to the question.
It is an undisputed fact that education, described by many as a process of learning or acquiring knowledge, skills, values, morals, beliefs, and habits, remains an important tool that shapes society into a better world. Without education, society will remain in total darkness as it reforms the life of an individual and society as a whole. A country's economic prosperity is also highly dependent on the educated population it has. Since the creation of Osun State in 1991 by the military regime of General Ibrahim Babangida, successive administrations have rolled out and implemented various educational policies aimed at producing a total being to facilitate rapid growth and development of the state. While speaking about the journey so far, the state chairman of the Nigeria Union of Teachers, NUT, Comrade Muritala Fatade, stated that from the primary and secondary school levels, Osun State has witnessed some level of growth.
We are making progress in terms of education. The number of schools that we have before the creation of Osun State has increased tremendously. Let us start from tertiary institution. Before the creation of Osun State, we don't have an institution called Osun State University. We don't have Ilesha University as we are having of today. We don't have so many secondary schools have been created after creation of Osun State, and a good number of primary schools too have also come to being. So we will say we are making progress, and a lot of things our government are doing in order to make education move forward.
Similarly, Vice Chancellor of Osun State University, Professor Clement Adeboye, noted that the state has also witnessed tremendous growth in the tertiary education level as the number of higher institutions keep increasing by the day, contributing to the economic growth of the state.
The increase in admission has added positively to the economies of the different host communities. Ejigbo, Ikire, Ipetujesha, Ifetedo, Okuku. All these communities are feeling the impact of the university.
Even though the successive administration in the state invested and still investing in the all-important sector, the state experienced some downturns, especially in the area of external examination among secondary school students, as explained by the Assistant Secretary General of the Nigeria Union of Teachers, Comrade Aki Adeoju.
Government even realized that we are not moving forward. Because that's a time she used to be between number 6 and 7 in external examination, especially WAEC. But unfortunately, in the last one, that was 2022, I think Osun was 35.
It was with a view to revamp the sector and put it on a strong footing that the present administration of Governor Ademola Adeleke recently organized an education summit where stakeholders in the sector gathered to chart a way forward for the future. Governor Adeleke, who was represented by his deputy, Prince Kola Adewusi, at the 3-day summit assured the people of his administration's readiness to restore the lost glory of the sector by removing all impediments that have contributed to the dismal growth of education in the state and the overall poor performance of its students in national examination.
Osun State rejects in its entirety the performance rating index in public examination that put us on 30s and above in a nation that has 36 states. Who do we really offend? We need to answer that question. Our administration shall deploy all legal academic means that we put the state within the first 10 before the first tenure expires.
Speaking in the same vein, the Commissioner for Education, Honorable Dipo Eluwole, described the summit as timely, adding that government has started correcting some of the negative trends identified by experts in the sector. He assured that the full implementation of the reforms would commence once the white paper is submitted, as that would help the state education sector regain its position among the best in Nigeria.
We were trying to make sure that Osun education is reformed, and the government of Osun, headed by our able governor, is making affirmative statement every time that he is ready to do everything humanly possible to make sure Osun education is taken to the next level.
The commissioner appealed to the entire Ijesha people to support the government in ensuring that the newly established University of Ilesha stands on a strong footing.
There are a lot of things to be done, and government cannot do everything. You can remember that there were a lot of promises before that university was situated in that Ilesha. We are begging you now, we are appealing to you to please make sure you help us to assist this university to make the development a reality.
Osun State can boast of several public and private higher institutions accredited by the National University Commission (NUC), polytechnics, colleges of education, and other recognized institutions. Oluchi Amuda, OSBC News.
This is the news across the country, coming to you from Osun State Broadcasting Corporation, Voice of the West, Nigeria. Now, our mid-news message. Cooperation is what humanity needs to redeem themselves. Let us learn to cooperate with one another. A daily skin care routine is required to keep your skin popping and good looking, especially for children. But how far has this purpose been achieved? OSBC Fashion News today takes a look at the decadency in the fashion world. Oluwadolapo Fayemi is our guide.
Fashion trends are specific look or expression that spreads across a population at a specific time and place. A trend is considered a more ephemeral look and not defined by the season, when collections are released by the fashion industry. One of these trends as observed by the OSBC Fashion News is the use of heavy cosmetics, wearing of skimpy dresses, and making of bolos hairstyles on children, and the use of bleaching creams on kids under the age of 12. This trend was noticed at the just concluded end of the session party of premise, as parents were seen putting makeup, heavy lashes, and some even paid heavily for the services of makeup artists. Kids were also seen putting on clothes that expose their bodies, all in the name of fashion. This act is considered worrisome because the use of makeup on kids damages their skin and exposes their skin to infection early. Makeup products are rich in chemicals which can harm their skins, and they are left with rash, infected skin, as well as itching and burning skin. In a chat with OSBC Fashion News, Reverend Sister Elizabeth Akimbolade said parents and society are responsible for proper upbringing of the child.
You understand? And if the home training is really what it's supposed to be, then we'll be able to blend with whatever is going on in the society, and we'll take whatever is positive in the society. You understand? And if the parents, if they have a kind of joint responsibility, kind of co-responsibility towards the upbringing of the children, I think so many of the societal ills can be eradicated.
In another discussion with Mrs. Adenike Ojo, she blamed the problem on the copycat syndrome, adding that the way people embrace civilization has become problematic to the society.
It's because of the civilization. In northern civilization, the people are taking things in a wrong way. Even you can see some women wearing very short gown. We see them here. They are children. They will imitate them. That is what they don't understand.
The use of chemical products on the skin for both adults and children is not the right way to treat your skin and body. Instead of using makeup and cosmetics, especially on children, people can choose to improve their skincare routine by using care products, and in doing that, one has to carefully select which products to use, as some of these products can damage the skin. While it is not ideal to apply makeup on children, putting on of skimpy dresses is also considered indecent. Oluwadola Kofayemi reporting for OSBC Fashion News.
The clerk of Osun State House of Assembly, Mr. Akinwale Amusan, has attributed his emergence as vice chairman of the Forum of Clerk of the State Houses of Assembly across the country to a pragmatic leadership of Governor Ademola Adeleke. Mr. Amusan scored 30 votes to defeat his counterpart from Rivers State, who polled just 3 votes during the just concluded election of the Forum of Clerk leadership held in Abuja recently, raised by 33 members. Reacting to his resounding victory, while speaking with newsmen, the clerk of the state parliament, Mr. Amusan, said his emergence may not have been possible without the frantic effort of Governor Ademola Adeleke and the unwavering support of the leadership of the legislative arm of government under the Speaker of the House, Honorable Adewale Bedouin, who mobilized the needed support for his participation. Osun State Commissioner for Water Resources, Honorable Sunday Oroniyi, is the guest tomorrow on Imole Ayo, a sensitization program highlighting the activities of the present administration in the state on OSBC radio and television channels. The weekly Yoruba program put in place by the Office of the Spokesperson to the Governor in conjunction with the management of OSBC is aimed at promoting the achievements of Governor Ademola Adeleke's administration in Osun State. Honorable Oroniyi will speak on the efforts of the present administration on the provision of potable water for the people across the state. Imole Ayo takes the air at 6:30 in the evening, while listeners and viewers can contribute dialing the studio line when the program is on live. The grand finale of the 2023 annual family camp of the Osun Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church holds tomorrow with Sabbath worship at the church's campground, Ede, Osun State. The camp having I Will Go Be Empowered with special focus on stewardship opened this week Sunday and will close officially next week Sunday. The guest speakers are Pastor Anil Barbie, Associate Director of Stewardship Ministry at the General Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Maryland, USA, and Pastor John Abu Sampa, Director of Stewardship Ministries, West Central African Division of the church headquartered in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire. The Sabbath worship, like the camp since it started, is open to all who desire to be beneficiary of God's goodness at all fronts and in all ramifications. Delta Queens Football Club of Asaba have been eliminated from the CAF Women's Champions League following their 0-1 loss to Anthem Dakwa Ladies FC of Ghana in the final playoff at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, Benin City. Adeyemi Abodere has more on sports updates.
Gent FC of Belgium striker Gift Orban has finally earned an invitation to the nation's senior men's national team, the Super Eagles, ahead of the upcoming 2023 African Nations Cup qualifying game against Sao Tome and Principe on the 10th of this month in Uyo. Orban is ranked among the best finishers in their early 20s in Europe and is known to be a potent and clinical goal scorer both in the Belgian Jupiler League and Europe. Orban had great returns of goals and assists last season, and so far in the 2023-2024 campaign, he has scored 6 goals in 7 games for Gent. 4 of the goals were in Europa League qualifier, and the remaining 2 goals were netted in 3 league games. Togo-born player is primed by the Super Eagles selectors to play a significant role by being given a dream chance to make his Super Eagles debut against Sao Tome and Principe. Meanwhile, clubs participating in the Nigerian Premier Football League may start the 2023-2024 season without takeoff grant as in the last season. This, according to the NPFL chairman Benga Elegbeleye. The league winner will go home with a minimum of 100 million naira prize money. It will be recorded that last season's champions, Eyimba International Football Club of Aba, got 100 million naira. 2023-2024 season will kick off on September 9. In the meantime, Delta Queens Football Club of Asaba has failed to qualify for the 3rd edition of the CAF Women's Champions League after losing by a lone goal to Ampem Dakwa Ladies Football Club of Ghana. The Ghanaians scored the only goal of the grueling encounter in the 44th minute. Ampem Dakwa Ladies will represent Wafobi Zone in the 2023 CAF Women's Champions League, which holds in November in Cote d'Ivoire. The World Athletics Championship silver medalist Eze Brumi has landed in China in search of Diamond League points. Brumi, a 3-time World Athletics Championship indoors and outdoor medalist, is seeking to become the 2nd Nigerian to compete in the final of the Diamond League meeting holding tomorrow. Brumi, who narrowly missed a podium finish after placing 4th in the long jump in Budapest, Hungary, is in China for the 12th leg of the money spinning Diamond League to enable her join her compatriot Toby Amuson in Eugene, Oregon, USA in a fortnight. Sport Minister John Eno has inspected the National Stadium Surulere, Lagos as part of his ongoing effort to assess state of major sport facilities in the country. He also inspected the National Institute of Sport, Game Village hosted, Legacy Pitch, among others. The minister promised to do all it takes to bring back the glory of the facility, which was once the pride of Africa. He emphasized President Bola Tinubu's commitment to sport development, stating that President continually gives his support to sport at all times. Sport update returns tomorrow. My name is Adeyemi Abodere.
To end the news across the country, here are the major points. The Nigeria Labour Congress will begin a 2-day warning strike next week, Tuesday. Osun State government has described it as false and misleading any information circulating on social media or other platforms about recruitment by the present administration. OSBC Fashion News segment focused decadence in the fashion world. And that was the news across the country by Temitope Olayuwola. For more about us, visit www.osbcng.org. Thanks for listening. Good evening.
You are live. On Osun Radio. 104.5 FM.
104.5.
ẹ ṣeun tí ẹ̀ ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa láti rédíò Ọ̀ṣun 104.5 FM Òṣogbo alóore ìwọ̀ oòrùn Nàìjíríà. Akọ́tún ètò olóyin ládùn èdè tí ó máa gbọ́ ẹ máa bá wa kálọ.
lóyin ládùn lẹ́tọ̀ ètò ní lóyin ládùn akọ́kọ́ lóko ètò tí ń fúnni lọ́gbọ́n àtòyé pẹ̀lú èdè Yorùbá tó yanrantí lẹ́nu atọ́kùn ẹ̀. ètò lóyin ládùn tọ̀sẹ̀ yìí láago 6 àbọ̀ sí aago 7 nírọ̀lẹ́ lọ́jọ́